Good evening. My voice a little bit not clear because of the a little cold, but in any way, I try to speak. At the moment, one of the museums in Tokyo, which was designed by Mario Botta, no big building and museum, but there are one exhibition of mine, which I don't know how I should describe. This is not non-architectural works, so which I did. Maybe somebody else tried to find from my archive and pick up many strange things. So of course I did make the schedule. I made those strange projects, but actually doesn't look like architecture, but something else. And the exhibition title is 12 by 5 equals 60. Very strange. Only this number or formula is the title. And it means, and many meanings, and 12 different kind of collaboration work I did with a composer, with a theater, with a special kind of artists to create some temporary structure or some kind of opera sceneries in Lyon, or that kind. Well, those are the non-architectural works in any ways. And also, same time, I didn't count yet, but 12. Architecture, which I found interesting from every epoch. And Andrea just mentioned on this. This is actually 12. And also, strangely found my selections half are Italians. So I try to find the most important, not really popular, but most important architectural work, one building from each epoch. And those selections from my areas, architectural historians, they have different view, completely different. And I found only in the United States, Philip Johnson, who is, of course, much older than me, but he is very much intellectually knowledge of history of architecture, history of cultures. He is a kind of curator of artistic things and so on. And once I discussed my selections of buildings in the history, and he also selected or card in Egypt this building, in Greece this building, and such a way. Among 12, 11s are same, but only one selections are different. That is a 20th century building. For that, I tried to signify the character of the 20th century, which is all over the world, the coming metropolis. Metropolis symbolize interesting skyscrapers. So skyscraper is okay, but I selected Chrysler. Philip said, no, Chrysler is stupid. Chrysler is stupid. You must select my building, which he collaborated with Miss van der Rohe, Seagram building. I said, no. Seagram is known everybody, but Chrysler building. Once people interested very much, but now people going to forget. And in such a discussions and talk, once I did to this guy, famous architect. But so 12 number is some way this kind of including number of selection of my taste, love the architecture, and my books of architectural thesis in the history, and more related to his architecture. My travel, sketch travel into 12 places in the world, or such as that, and also houses, residence of 20th century. I selected the 12, and made essays and sketches and so on and so on. Those are the kind of my hobby, because architect has to work almost every day, have to design, have to create architecture, and also not really pure intellectual, pure so-called artistic things. If you work with architecture, a lot of noise and crazy things always happen, and a kind of sometimes you must do a kind of dirty works because of some strange people, or a kind of, if this is in Japan, so the Yakuza people come in and talk, like a movie seems to happen. Those cases. We have to face practicing architecture always this kind of stupid things. But myself, little small, very small room in the cottage in the mountain. Sometimes I stay there, and to cut off all the telephones. Still, I have no cell phones, computers, but only I'm shut out from all the connections of the information things outside. Try to be isolated. And those 12 things by 5 equal 60. 60 is the year after I graduate school. That was 1954, and this year is 60 years, a kind of anniversary for me, with my classmates. A kind of, we celebrate 60 years. So that is another thing. Everything in numbers, I can, connected to. In any way, this is my interest, more cultural space of the, I think, how to describe it. This is not just, our interest is not just normal type of understanding of a society or political situation or so on, but more myself is if each are related, but cultural space is more interesting and important for me. And my works, not only architecture, not urban designs, or more, all about those, are all connected to the cultural space. And cultural space, especially today, Japan has, economically or politically almost similar things going on. But cultural thing is even some strange things are add in the habit of the people and the histories and the legendaries and many kind of this kind of elements are interconnected to each other. So I am working all over the world, many places. But at the same time, I was born in Japan, which is archipelago islands and facing Eurasia continent from east side, and always in the history, culture, center of culture, are not in such a fringe, always in the center. Traditionally, China, some place of China was a cultural center, and we have to learn from some distances. And for example, that is the east side thing. And west side thing, probably here in Mediterranean area was in the long history is the center of cultures. But similar situation as Japanese, British, they are there against the islands. And for me, it looks like a little bit off centers. And always, British and Japanese in the history, looking, studying. For Japanese, learned from China, and British people that they extend into the United States and later on, and those are always watching and studying the European center, which is here in Mediterranean area. This kind of situation is a kind of my cultural space understanding over the structure of the world. And everybody has to find and think about your positions, where you have learned, you have studied or lived and did works. But every time different conditions, different scale. So it's a long time, it means, when I was a student and until now. I feel not in the center. Center is sometimes off from me, but this distance and myself for me the important. For example, we have. Of course, you can find in the libraries many interesting Japanese architectural traditions, cultures, and so on. And at the same time, China has, and here in Mediterranean has, and those differences as distances, and also same times that not only the distance, but also same time the directions, and also same time a kind of straight or twisted connections. So this is always give us specific attitude to learn contemporary cultures, which is going on, so on. But in any way, already 60 years, I was thinking such a ways. But by chance, sometimes I have a chance to build building, and now sometimes I am working, planning almost urban scale structures in China or so on. But okay. This kind of talk is too vague and so on. But in any way, today I show my works. Maybe most of the projects André Maffei came to my office, and connection to the Italy, we had several chances to proposal or the winning competitions, and actually realize competition and buildings. So those are just with the PowerPoint I explained first, and later on maybe more discussions. The Milano connection is means some relation to the Milan itself, but first one is first section is a flux. Flux is maybe I explain kind of new computer analyze or computer generated creating forms. This is we have developed and studied, and some forms that you can see. This is already 12 years ago. Probably you know all about these famous Florence stations here, and this is a kind of competitions who try to for the new rapid railway systems they like to have station connected to the existing stations itself. Actually, this time 500-meter long, about 150 wide, simple flat roof has to be supported. Maybe 4, 5, 6 point.
4 points.
4 points. And that's a heavy structure. And I think all the communication systems are there for the city. And of course, we can build, we can support this platform, just columns and so on. But I try to ask the structural engineer Sasaki to find good solution or optimal solutions of most rational way, minimum support of these big frames supporting underneath. This is more civil engineering side of the structure, and architecture is I mean the big architecture, quite large scale itself. This formula is based on so-called non-linear formula analysis. And it means computer cannot calculate in the same time. One by one is a kind of, one small part are linear structure and analysis, and another linear part, and connected each other. Another way of transformations, and try to find most optimized rational structural system, which I found we never thought about this kind. And one engineers, the collaboration, one I collaborated, found this structure system. He surprised even by himself. So is it architecturally possible or not? I didn't know too. But in any way, if this is rational, it will be built. So I just, start to make with this model and transform into presence and into the program. So this only 4 columns, big columns, and very big platforms above the roof, and to how to support it in the most rational way. And this was 12 years ago proposal. Of course, too strange, and people thought, and we ourselves actually we are not so sure at the moment how to build it technically. That is so okay. This is not selected, or maybe next time we can find that. This kind of structural system, if we find in the history some example who try to create or find interesting new forms, which was Antonio Gaudí. It's about 1906, 8 around, just the beginning of the 20th century. He's just an excellent hand architect, but he is also to have a very rational structural studies. And I love this kind of approach to that. And this is hanging from the ceiling and wires, and with many weight surrounded, and try to find one church structure, a kind of dome, towers, into one unity. And this is hanging structure. But if upside down, he made a sketch the church inside, the image of church inside. And of course, this is really interesting studies in the history. All the weight is falling into the sky, the upside down images, but looks like very dynamic forms. And part of that in the crypt, he realized Colonial Guerre Church, part of that he realizes. And also using normal traditional masonry systems, try to design this kind of structures. So this example, I found one of the most 20th century's most important, interesting approach, using, but this time masonry structures, traditional technique, but at the same time how to find, even though the limited situation, how to find interesting space. That is the way he developed. So after almost 100 years after, 80 years after, I had one chance working up in Shanghai, some office tower or design center and office complex, hotels and shopping malls and so on. Also in the middle cultural centers, so-called Himalaya, they call. But in any way, in the middle of building, we learned from Antonio Gaudí's very interesting approach to the form, and using that upside down technique, and also same time one how to call it, optimization of the forms. No, but the major problem we faced was how to cast of these very big structures. And for this time, why not to use concrete, just according to this is not the skin itself. Structure itself, it becomes most rational form. And you can see there on the human side, this is quite a large scale, a kind of open space for the more cultural event almost every day. And underneath is a shopping, and above a kind of museums and hotels and connected. So this is strange cultural complex. So my first idea is, if in the city, museum always try to distinguish themselves into the independent, not including commercial, not including the hotel activity offices and so on. But today, I think, if you come in a hotel, behind there are a museum. If you come into the museum, behind there are hotels and so on. This kind of commercial, cultural mixture and complex, it more makes all the activity more active. And a few years after, 2008, this is a very bad year of economic. And in any way, after Florence, we had a chance to make proposal of the Bologna station. And to thinking that, I referred one thing. So this is La Caixa in Barcelona, which I renovated old building, and this is the entrance. So this is not connected to the major subject. So look at on the ceiling, there are lines, something like wires floating. This is the work, and the name work, it didn't write. This is of a famous painter, Lucio Fontana. Of course, he lives here. Huh?
Yes,
these images, if we can develop for the new structures for the Bologna station, that could be, and of course, not necessary to highlight, just simple, just a 300 meter.
200 by 100.
200 by 100. One single box. So that's okay, huh? We thought above the lanes of the stations to support of this kind of big box as a kind of part of the station, and including commercial activities, cultural activities above the station, lanes. And that time, such a big box, we need skylight and support and structure and of course, enveloped station. If you look at that, whole roof is one continuous concrete slab, and cutting and curved like a Fontana's thing. It creates automatically a kind of beam, partially. And if we make a hole, kind of tube, something like that, and which become a kind of support of the and the beams like Shanghai structure. If you look at the very low, how to call rapid trains, and on the surface, traditional type of lanes or trains, and over that, this kind of new structures. So still, I think they study 20th century's important artists or architects. They have they made sketches that they left. We have lots of things to learn from them. So this is a connection of the scene of the existing townscape, and finally, I hope this station may realize. I don't know when. You don't know. And in the middle of those two projects, I had a chance to make some proposal of the city of Doha in Qatar. And this is whole campus master plans, and there are on the right side a kind of ceremonial court, and on the other side, big national convention centers, and all other big buildings are campus buildings. And to create this convention center, same ways again for support, and actually 250 long flat roof, and computer, and we asked the computer to find. No, we are not designing at all. Asking computer just to find reasonable, rational point. And strange enough, those forms, computer-generated form, coming similar of the natural form of the trees, mango trees and so on. Also, same time, a kind of more organic structure into our bodies, nearly the body or so on. Which is strange enough, image of the right angle, straight line, flat things coming more and more organic bio type of the images come out. And this is the a kind of calculations of the conventions, auditoriums behind, and this is a kind of just in front coming, and those are the visual connections by light. And actually it is realized. And behind the simple normal type of the glass box, which is functionally no problems, and including 2,500 seat auditorium and 700 concert hall and 5,000 seating of the convention space, exhibition spaces, and those are the just programs. Those programs are not behind, and in front, try to signify a kind of new images from freeway to get some impressions, to give impressions. And this time, in Shanghai case, we use reinforced concrete, very complicated concrete forms, and we had to use. And this time, major structure is just other human hand and bones inside. And this is a kind of secondary skins, which steel and welded each other and polished. So actually no seam visible. But after the public production, the far distance, in Malaysia we produce and shipped to the Qatar, and created of this structures. This is a kind of continuous lobbies of the convention center. And of course, this is Louis Bourgeois' famous spider structure. It's very big. So if you look at this, you can imagine that the structure itself. And finally, arriving to Florence, Bologna, and arriving to Milan. And Milan, and actually the tower, which I start to work with the city life. And just looking back at how the tower in Milan was. And when the first time I visited here in Milan, two towers are quite interesting. One is Torre Velasca, and other one later Pirelli, I think. And among them, a lot of typical new high-rise buildings are here, and those are the forms we see everywhere in the world. I think it's not especially characteristic. I think even though this is old 1960s, this Pirelli building is the most interesting at that time. Still, I think important. For example, one is the structural system, other one is a kind of wind total forms other towers. This kind no straight simple form, many different angles on the surface, characteristic of geopontis. And interesting point is this structural sections. You see this whole structure looks like trees, from the ground, and gravity or the weight and above, it comes, on higher part lighter, heavier on the underneath, and all the weight into the earth. And the part of the structure is, of course, reinforced concrete, and those are like Antonio Gaudi's study on by brick or Catalan walls and bricks. This is concrete, and concrete can be used not a simple posts and beams, but more organic structure. And Geopontis famous towers, which is still there. I think this is monument, historically very important structures. That's what made in steel. And my interest is, another way, Brancusi. Constantin Brancusi, he, of course, sculpture. He did many interesting bronze, brass structures and sculptures and wrought. But one of the important things he did, he always tried to use his objects on top base of the sculpture is another way important element. Now, most of the case in the museums, simple box plate, plate, and sculpture are on top. But he designed Brancusi both, and actually one of the base is this. And he, for the monument, he picked up his own design for the base and stacked one by one. And actually, this is in Romania, and this was built. And he called endless tower, which means one by one stacking and never end. And that kind of ways, once I just studied, this wasn't realized in Tokyo, one of the above the station, and I studied some highlight towers structure based on Brancusi's endless. This is at the moment maybe end of 80. Just proposal I have studied, and underneath rapid train stations, and some imaginary studies we did. And similar time, I have studied the tetra, one by one stacking, and to create a tower, which in stacking manner is similar to Brancusi. But Brancusi's case is a vertical simple element. But this case, of course, simple unit tetra. And tetra we covered by titanium this moment, and come up to and total height is just 100 meters this time. 100 meters is a kind of anniversary of the city. So this tower of the city is a kind of their monument, and also same time a kind of symbolic images to connected to the whole city activities. So this is those studies. I think maybe actually already 25 years ago we are studying, and for the Milano redevelopment of the Fiera area, Daniel Libeskind, Zaha Hadid, and myself, we are asked each one towers to design. And this time, I'm try to basically go back to the basic structure, basic character of the towers in structure. And for example, this kind of form is easy. We find Eiffel Towers in Paris or many other places. Those are the with bearing the horizontal wind and most reasonable forms of the against the wind side. So this creates that way. And other idea I thought, of course, we don't need a kind of if we seriously work on the most efficient office or building, and using a contemporary elevator most efficient ways, and so major form it must be something vertical, and at the same time to get some horizontal wind, or if this is in Japan, more earthquake horizontal waves. Those comes. And city life projects, we came up using this stacking unit outside as images, and also same time this brace against the horizontal strong wind, and we have just studied wind channels inside and how each area twists or so on. So those are this time the study of that. And finally, we came up to the very simple solutions. Both end elevators, possibly the visible that's looking at the city, and same time two cores, maybe structurally, and those cores and horizontal big frames, and they are making a kind of box type, and this is usable space inside the building. Both sides and elevators. And also the stage, brace on both sides, and like fairing the Eiffel Tower's situation, we try to create something new way of skin structure and integration into the most efficient office space. And climatic control of because of this is completely glass, so the space in between this curved surface, we try to calculate kind of wind control, heat control, this kind of studies. And distribution of the exterior energies into the building itself. And this is a very simple structural images. Of course, very early stage, but you can find two a kind of spines on the both sides, and those has a stage buttress. And we wind tunnel type of the analysis we have studied. And finally, we arrive this solution, much more efficient. And to hold the four buttresses on the both sides, it is on one side already done major twisting situation will be connected to the both much wider base into by this stage. And day by day, construction going up. This is almost this moment. Photos a little bit developed, huh?
Almost finished.
Yeah. Okay, so here you can is the reality you can see. Those are the things, towers which I did studied and now going to realize. And many, even though very simple single structure, if it is such a scale, technically, we have studied lots of different sides, wind studies, vibration studies, and facade studies on the road. But this is the necessary studies to integrate, to function the perfectly of this kind of towers. Thank you.